Hey, welcome to the Crypto in Real Life podcast. This is our seventh one, and this is for news and different things that's going on with crypto and investing for the week of May 8th, 2022. So let's go ahead and get right into it and talk through some of the things I prepared. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Clint, but it's RadioShack is basically shilling crypto. Have you seen anything about that?
I haven't. This is completely new to me.
So apparently they're trying to get into the crypto game. Like as you can see here, I put a little clip of their Radio Shack swap. Like you can swap cryptos somehow through them. I have no idea, but the website is like they're bringing back all their old stuff, like the hobby stuff and DIY stuff, plus their electronics and things like that, and batteries. Like I don't know. But they're coming back and they're also trying to get into crypto.
Like, are they making cryptocurrencies? Is that what they're doing?
Not that I saw something like that, but the way I understood it is it's like you can use their platform to swap currencies. I think there is a Radio Shack coin too.
Okay. I didn't know if they were like providing a service of like, we'll create a coin for you or something. I don't know.
I think he tries to claim that. Ty Lopez, you know who he is, right?
Yeah.
So him and some other weird people. I saw the ad on Facebook. I was like, this is so strange. And it says something about trying to create cryptos for you, or something bizarre like that. But when I went on the website, all I saw was this swap thing, which means you can put, I think you can connect your wallet to it and swap your token to another token or something like that. I don't really see what the purpose of it is. There's already a ton of these services available.
Yeah.
So I didn't quite understand the pitch or what they're trying to do. But Ty Lopez actually bought RadioShack, the brand.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he actually bought it, and I guess this is his new little scheme to. I mean, his last. Have you ever seen that one where he's like, "This is my library. This is knowledge." Have you seen that before?
Yeah, that little ad that played on YouTube for like 2 years.
Yeah, this is knowledge or whatever, and I think he's just a grifter basically.
And that's what it seems like to me.
I mean, there's crypto definitely attracts a lot of grifters, so it's not too surprising. It is kind of weird that he adopted the Radio Shack brand to try to do it.
Well, I mean, I guess it gives it credibility. Because, I mean, you're not going to think... Well, I mean, you might, but most people wouldn't think that Radio Shack's a scam.
But look at this. This is on the website. Radio Shack to the moon, baby.
Yeah, what? I just don't get it.
I find it really funny. I don't know. I think it's kind of silly. I think they should have just come up with a totally different brand. I think trying to make Radio Shack be a crypto thing is strange.
Well, weren't they... I thought they had gone out of business, or am I wrong on that?
No, they're out of business, and he's bringing it back, and he's trying to sell other stuff too. I guess it's like maybe it's one of his drop shipping businesses. I don't know.
Okay, so they went out of business, and he bought them after they had gone out of business. And
yep.
Okay, I see.
Bought the brand.
All right.
And it says their mission is to bring crypto to mainstream adoption. Like, that's their mission, is to bring mainstream adoption to crypto through the old brand of Radio Shack. I guess they think people who used to buy batteries will now start buying crypto.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Let me just jump into the website real quick and show you. See, this is literally what pops up when you first open it. You don't know Shaq. You think you know crypto, you don't know Shaq. Oh, I get it. You don't know Shaq.
Okay.
I didn't even notice that. Looking for Radio Shack Crypto? Swap is now live. Let's actually click into it.
Yeah, what is this?
If it'll actually load. Okay. So what is Radio Shack Crypto? Radio Shack is a 100 years old brand Oh, here you go. You can win $10,000 in crypto or a car. It just feels like a scam. Just straight up, it feels like a scam. Radio Shack is a $100 brand embedded into the global consciousness, and we are going to lead the way for blockchain tech to reach mainstream adoption by other large brands. What?
And that was just a whole lot of nothing.
So here you go. So you can. Oh, this just allows you to convert it. But you don't. You could do it to anything, right?
I assume.
Yeah, you can swap anything. But radio's number one, man. I really don't get it. It's so strange. Yeah, you can connect the wallet. I'm assuming
that they're taking some off the top, right?
Oh, I'm sure it's fucked up or something. But I would bet they're going to keep a lot of these Radio Shack tokens, and their hope is that the Radio Shack token will go up in value, and then they can just start selling it and liquidating it for real money.
Yeah, so maybe they're providing the swap service in the hopes that people will swap, legitimate coins for Radio Shack coins.
Yeah, you could put Ethereum in it or USDC, which is like the US dollar stable coin, which is worth a US dollar always. And I don't know about these other ones. I'm not really too familiar with them. I'm assuming, like you're basically, that's how they can make money, is like you build up value in the Radio Shack brand, and then off the side they can be converting it into Ethereum or something that's worth something, or to USDC or whatever, something that's actually worth something. But the thing is bizarre. It's like, what value? Oh, I've got some Radio Shack dollars. I'm rich.
Oh, did you earn some?
Yeah, apparently. I need to connect the wallet and get my Radio Shack money.
Yeah.
I don't fully understand the point. Stake Radio Shack. Okay. You can stake your... Oh, wow. You get 184% a year. Maybe that's what it is. It's just a pure Ponzi scheme.
See, that's what it seems like.
It's just a pure Ponzi scheme. Oh, I'm going to stake my radio. How do I do it? This is so insane.
I think this is just for Ty Lopez's sycophants to go on here and he can steal money from them.
Oh, he did another crypto scam too, where he sold some NFTs and said, if you buy these NFTs, I'm going to go buy a hotel, and the hotel will be exclusive for me and only the people who bought the NFTs.
That didn't happen.
He can't buy a fucking hotel. Exclusive. It's silly.
Yeah.
Like that is ridiculous. That's so insane if you bought into that. Like if you
how many people bought in?
I mean, he sold some of them. I've heard. I don't think he sold as much as he thought he was going to, though. He kind of got. I think he got into crypto a little late. He could have really. He could have done. If he done it in 2021, he might have got some people. You got to do it at the height of it to get these scams going.
Yeah.
I can remember in 2017 you had BitConnect. That was another big scam one.
Yeah.
It's always at the height of it when those scams can really take off. But anyways, Radio Shack is now a crypto scam, I guess.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I do wonder though if anybody will actually put real money into it. Do you think anybody will actually do it?
I'm sure somebody will.
I guess, I mean, you can look at it as donating to Ty Lopez, I guess, via Radio Shack.
I'm sure there are people who believe every word that he says, and they're going to do it.
So crazy. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
The next topic is, I don't know if you're familiar with Ripple or XRP. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not.
It's a token and they're on the payment side. They're focused on making payments and remittances to other countries. Like if you're in the U.S. and you have family in Mexico or something, and you want to send some money across the borders, it's a pain to do that with like Western Union. You could do that with Bitcoin, but they're kind of competing with Bitcoin in a big way because they're really just focused on sending value across international lines. more easily, which you can do that with XRP. So
Okay.
I don't think it's really much more than that. So I don't have any interest in buying it at all. Like, I don't find it. To me, Bitcoin already does all these things, so I don't really see the point of it. But a lot of people are into it, I guess. But the SEC, and we know a lot of cryptos are basically securities. You know, they're basically unregistered securities because they're like the RadioShack. What they're doing is that's fucking a scam. I mean, and they're not even you can look at it as them giving out stock almost for you giving them money, and you're believing in the brand. So it's sort of like an unregistered stock. You know what I'm saying? Unregistered security, same thing. So the SEC accused XRP or Ripple, because Ripple is a corporation that actually runs the token. That's another reason why I don't really like it. But they're running the token and they put it out, and they're accusing them as basically saying that this token is a stock, and they will give future profits from it. Now Ripple is saying we're not actually doing that, because that basically is what defines a security, is if you give out your profits to someone who purchases the token or stock, whatever you want to call it. And they're claiming they're not doing that. They just happen to be a company this created this token. Now,
because the token itself does not correlate to the value of the company.
That's what their claim is. Let me show you this video of Gary Gensler kind of talking. This is the SEC commissioner, chair, whatever you want to call him. He kind of talks about what he defines as a security. Makes it make more sense.
Can you explain your view of whether Ethereum is a security or not? I think you've actually suggested it isn't.
Talks about Ethereum here
why
specifically.
You believe that Ripple is a security. And I know there's an ongoing lawsuit related to Ripple, but could you speak to the Ethereum issue?
Andrew, just to have a little fun with you, refer back to my earlier question. I'm not going to speak to any one matter, and so your listeners understand it. I'm the chair of a 5-member commission that's also a civil law enforcement agency. And so we don't get involved in these types of public forums talking about any one project, one possible circumstance, and give legal advice over the airways that way. But again, let me talk about more generically the overall market. If you're raising money from the public, and the public is in anticipation of profit based upon that promoter, sponsor, that group's efforts, that's within the securities laws. And it's within the securities laws because Congress painted with a broad brush. They wanted to protect you, the investing public, so that you have proper information, or what's called full and fair information, and protect you against fraud.
Okay, so I think that's pretty cut and dry as to what it is. And another big point that he says, and I've heard him say it before, is if it has no other purpose than to distribute profits to individuals. So, like, if the token has other purposes, you can argue that it's not a security. Does that make sense?
Right. Well, I think it does have other purposes.
Right. You? Yeah, I agree. I think they're off on it. But Ethereum is one that's been targeted. He's pretty much said he doesn't view Ethereum as the same way as Ripple. He differentiates them. And maybe I'm not seeing it, but I think the main reason why is because Ripple is run more like a company. Like, there is a company behind it that makes profits. Ethereum is run by, it's like a foundation, and it's decentralized. Much more decentralized than Ripple.
Hypothetically, if Ripple went out of business, would XRP go away?
No.
Okay.
That to me says that they don't have a case.
Now, I think so.
You know, so... And I think in reality there needs to be a big overhaul of how the SEC does business, because they're going to really limit things if they're so, the scrutiny is so much. Because you could argue the ape coin is one of these, because they're talking about using it to promote and do video games and all these different things. So it's you could argue it's a stock in a sense. I don't know. I guess the way I look at it is I don't think they have a case, but I'm biased for sure. But I do think it wouldn't be good for the industry if Ripple loses this case. It'd be good if they won. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Right, and like I said, Ripple argues that owning it gives them no right to profits from Ripple. Ripple profits have nothing to do with the XRP token. But you could argue that that there's definitely some correlation there. So,
I mean, yeah, there's probably correlation. That wouldn't surprise me. But
right,
I don't think it's like 1-to-1 or anything like that.
No, but there's definitely been a lot of cryptocurrencies, even Ethereum, that when they started, they basically said, this is our initial sale, our initial coin offering, and people have bought into it and helped start the project. So they are raising, there have been, even Ethereum has raised money from individuals to get started, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. It depends on how you define it, I guess. Like, if it's purely a raising money type of thing, and that makes it a security, then there's a lot of cryptos that are up a creek.
Yeah.
Like, if it's purely just like you're raising money, then that's like everything. Except there's only a few that wouldn't be up a creek, and Bitcoin would still be okay because it's not centralized at all. It's nothing, nobody, it's totally decentralized. And when it was created, it was worthless, and it wasn't people saying, "Hey, come buy this, come do this." It was just people mining it, and it naturally garnered attention.
Yeah. I mean, couldn't Ripple be on the stock exchange as well?
Yep, it could be, but it's not. But it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of. That's why supposedly this case is going to get resolved in 2023. It's been pushed back a lot. And actually, Ripple, I've heard, is countersuing the SEC. So I don't know. I don't care about the XRP token at all. I really don't give a crap. But I hope they win, because I think that'd be a good sign.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know the details of it, but to me it seems like it's not a security, but I don't know.
Well, and it also brings up something, what we talked about last week about the wallets being able to tokenize stocks. How would that work? Would that be okay? Would that be allowed?
Right.
That seems like that would blur that line. Or maybe it wouldn't, but I don't know. It's always confusing.
The NFT itself would be like an unregistered security. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I don't know how that would work. It'd have to be. The SEC would have to have a large part in the process, because they're the ones they're registered with them.
And really, I just think these laws are outdated.
Yes,
I don't think they're equipped to handle this.
No, they're really not. They need to have an overhaul of the laws, or just have a new organization, or because these are awesome technologies that are being held back by the government.
Yeah,
and that's not good. And right now, they're not able to keep up with all the scams. There's so many scams, it's insane. There's a million other tokens out there that are obvious scams. I don't understand why going after one that's somewhat legitimate makes sense. Ripple, I think, I don't really know a ton about it. All I know is it's basically a competitor to Bitcoin. In my opinion.
They might be doing something that specifically is different than all the other ones.
Yeah, there might be details I don't know. So I still hope they win, though, because I feel like if they win, then Ethereum is definitely good, because they're even more decentralized. So
yeah.
Well, we'll see about that. Okay, so I watched this video of Joe Rogan talking about Bitcoin, and I thought it was kind of interesting.
The Joe Rogan.
Let me get to it.
time with people.
Exactly.
I think of Bitcoin the same way I think about the early internet. I think they didn't see it coming, and now it's a viable form of currency. You can actually buy things with it, and I think the government is freaking out. I think what they're going to try to do is they tried to do some shit with the internet during the Obama administration, where they were going to try to censor the internet, and it fell apart because people were furious in the uproar, and they thought the political repercussions of it were not worth it. Like the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, so they backed off of it. But I feel that there's going to come a time where some government, whether it's the United States or another government, might try it first. They're going to try to implement, I know they already do it in China, but they're going to try to implement a digital currency, a centralized digital currency that they can control.
Yeah.
What's scary about that is they could say, Khalil, we've looked at, your behavior online, and you have some marks against you,
Yeah.
and so you're not going to be able to buy this.
Yeah.
Or you can only buy staples. You can buy food and shelter, but we're not going to allow you to travel.
Yeah.
Because that could
It's
be a
scary.
real thing where they could literally limit what you spend your money on.
1,000%,
Yeah.
Joe.
So, what do you think about the central bank digital currency? I guess first, the thing you mentioned at the end.
I mean, I think that is a scary prospect. And honestly, I could see that happening.
Yep.
But if the government were to crack down onto cryptos, and in a major way, I could see that happening, and them implementing their own cryptocurrency, and that's the only one you can use or something.
Right. That's what they did in China.
Yeah.
They literally did. That's what they're doing. I don't think we're going to do that, because that would also get rid of the needs for a bank, and we're a banking system, and we have I don't think, there'd be no need for a bank.
Yeah. In America, it would probably be more about preserving the current system, as opposed to replacing it with a new one.
I think what could happen is they could make a central. I mean, I don't have anything against centralized digital currencies if they wanted to make that into sort of like a digital cash. I don't have anything against that as long as they allow for freedom of choice in the matter.
Yeah. If you have other options, then yeah, that's fine.
Right. Well, I see in the future, at least this is my hope, is all the banks that are around now, like Wells Fargo and Bank of America, they will start to allow you to they will custodian any cryptocurrency that's okay and legal and regulated at that point. That's what I hope for. Is
I can see that happening within a few years, honestly.
Yeah, especially I think they'll do slow. The major ones first, like Bitcoin, and then Ethereum.
Yeah, Bitcoin will be the first one.
Bitcoin will be the first one, and then maybe some of the stable coins. Because it's stupid not to do it, because it's the same concept. When you give your dollars to them, they can lend it out, and they can make money off of it. So if you allow them to, custodian your Bitcoin, they can lend it out, or they can, borrow money off of your Bitcoin that they're custodying,
I wonder what's what kind of infrastructure would they need for that? Could they use what they currently have?
No, because right now it's all just a database.
Yeah,
it's digital. It's basically like the technology you work with. It's just mainframe, COBOL and stuff. Every time you take money out, they batch it off. They've gotten better at taking it out more immediately to you, but it's not actually settled until the next day.
I guess what does being the custodian of a cryptocurrency entail?
Well, what does Robinhood do? Robinhood is one. Coinbase is one. What are they doing? They're holding your Bitcoin until you want to take it out, or if you want to move it somewhere else. You're not custodying your Bitcoin unless you move it to a digital wallet. that Bitcoin that was on your hard drive that got erased, you were custodying it and you lost it. So you may not
Right.
be, you're not the best custodian, I guess. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So whenever you buy,
So I mean, but
Sure
essentially they're just keeping your wallet key.
yeah,
That's it, right?
yeah, they're keeping your wallet, and basically you have a wallet. If you're on Robinhood, you have that Bitcoin wallet that's sort of obfuscated, and you can use
Yeah, they have
it.
like an interface,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, it's basically a Robinhood wallet. But you don't have to, you're not the one who's in charge of it. They're the ones who have to take control of the security of it, and they're the ones who are responsible for it. You're not responsible for it.
Right.
That's what I mean by custodying your money. That's the thing that Bitcoin allows, is it allows you to take control of your own money in a digital way that's not possible today in the current system. That's the whole, I guess, revolution behind it. That was the big idea, I think. One of the big ideas. But I think as people are learning, most people don't want to do that. Most people don't want to have it on some little hard drive and pray to God they remember their keys and keep their keys somewhere. They don't. That's like mattress, cash under the mattress type thing. At least I think in a lot of people's minds.
But isn't like, I mean, in order to keep that information, you would just need to keep like a username and their wallet key, right?
Right.
And is that all? Is that literally all they're keeping?
I don't know how it all works for them, but yeah, essentially they must have some wallet key for your wallet, or it could be they just have one big Bitcoin wallet for everybody, and then
Yeah.
you're sending it out from the big.
And then, right, they just have a system that keeps track of all the money that
Right.
they've built.
They could be doing it that way. I don't know how that
Yeah.
probably actually makes more sense.
That does make more sense. I agree.
Or maybe they have it spread out over multiple wallets just for security purposes.
Yeah.
And then they're just kind of moving things around internally, and then whenever you tell it to actually move it, they actually are moving it.
Right.
Or they could have a one-to-one thing, and there's just a ton of wallets, and there's automatically
I would
making
think
them.
if they do it that way, it would be very similar to their current system. It was just
Right.
and it's just replacing U.S. dollars with money pulled out from this wallet.
But it's not exactly their same system because they have to keep they have to keep that Bitcoin on a wallet.
Right, the
somewhere.
back end part would be different, but I think the front end would be very similar.
Well, yeah, you're probably right, but they need to improve that.
Yeah.
We can't be withdrawing our Bitcoin, and if it takes days.
Yeah, I agree. It needs to be updated, but I'm saying they could probably do it now if they wanted to.
I think they would. My point, what I was saying is, I don't think they're going to try to. I think they have to make a whole new system, just for the crypto.
Yeah, they're
stuff.
probably going to.
They're going to have to, I think, because it's they can't try to make COBOL and mainframe work with it somehow.
It would be dumb not to try to do it with the newer stuff. Because
Yeah, I mean-
like putting it on COBOL, it would just cause a lot of problems. Like you don't want to still be working with that 50 years down the line.
And it may be that the old school banks may never get into it at all, and they just keep the legacy system going. And it's
That's
only
true.
the new banks, the Cash Apps, the Robinhoods, the Coinbase, all the different ones there are now that are sort of the new banks.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling though that they're going to want to be a part of it, at least for a few of them. They may not have. They would probably only have like a few options. I doubt they'd have a ton. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think people will always want to have a custodian, and I think there's a lot of discounting of that in the crypto community. A lot of people are kind of crazy about you should have it, blah 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 blah. But I think a lot of people just don't want that responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the thing about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in general is you just get that wallet key and you've got the money, you know.
Yeah.
And with a bank, it's in a physical location. Someone has to go and steal it. So
Right.
they're opening themselves up to cyber attacks, which I mean that's already a problem, but it would become even more of a problem.
But it's about impenetrable because of how hard it is to. It's actually easier. They're already open up to cyber attacks because now you just need to find an account number and a routing number, and that's it.
That's true.
And it's much easier to do now. The new system, each individual has their own wallet. Each individual, actually for Robinhood, they have to have a wallet for each person because you can send stuff into Robinhood for your wallet, and you have to give it a wallet key, a wallet address. Like I went to Coinbase and sent some Dogecoin to Robinhood, so they must have a specific wallet for each person.
Say it again. Sorry.
Robinhood
Why?
must have a specific wallet for each person because I went to Coinbase and sent Dogecoin to Robinhood, and I had to get a specific wallet address that I had from Robinhood, put it into Coinbase, and tell Coinbase to send it there.
Yeah, that sounds like they do then. Yeah.
Right. So, but that would mean for a hacker to get into it, they couldn't just hack the bank and take all their Bitcoin. They'd have to hack each individual wallet. And on top of that, would require the passphrase for each one. And it's not like they're storing that information anywhere. That's all encrypted.
Yeah, yeah.
It would be way harder, I think, to do it with crypto than with the digital dollars as they are now.
Yeah, I agree. It probably would add more security.
Yeah, I think it would too. But, I mean, I think if anyways, the main reason why I brought it up is because I think if centralized, banks made their own digital currency, then the Wells Fargos and the legacy banks would have to figure out an infrastructure to handle that in the same way that the cryptos work now. So, if they're doing that, they might as well custodian Bitcoin too, because that would be helpful to them.
Yeah, yeah.
At least that's what I think. It's hard to know for sure. What did you think about Joe Rogan's statement about the fact that Bitcoin's like the early days of the internet?
I couldn't hear that last part. Say it again.
What did you think about Joe Rogan's statement about Bitcoin being like the early days of the internet?
Oh yeah, I didn't you say something similar to that, like in a previous podcast? I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's an accurate analogy.
Yeah. It tells me he gets. I think he's understanding. Like a lot of people get really excited about it. This Khalil guy, who's a UFC fighter, was like all freaking out about it. He was just talking about Bitcoin for like 5 minutes straight and was just like freaking out. And then Joe Rogan made that statement. So I think he's getting the same sense of excitement that people have for a new technology like he did with the internet.
Yeah, because he was around during that.
Right. I guess it's hard to know exactly where Bitcoin would be if it is literally going to follow the same shape as the internet does in the adoption of it. I would think it'd probably be around 2000 or 99 or something like that, probably.
Where we're at now, you're saying?
Yeah,
I think we're around like 2000.
Yeah, and the adoption of it, and there's some people that know about it, but a lot of people don't have a clue or don't even care at all. Like, it's almost like it's still kind of in the nerd territory.
Right.
Which
it's
is
not
where the internet
completely
was.
mainstream yet.
Yeah, it's like we're coming up with these ideas for like people when they first discovered email that people thought it was pointless.
Yeah.
A lot of people you just call people. Why would you do that? Why would you email somebody? You know, I think, and basically that's sort of what the main thing this brought crypto on is. You're basically emailing money to people, essentially, on its own rails without the need for anything else, which is kind of crazy. Because PayPal kind of solved that, but you needed them to make sure the transactions actually happen. So this doesn't require any party. So it is kind of strange.
Yeah.
Like who would I ever? It's sort of unbelievable. I remember whenever PayPal first came out too. It's like I didn't even. I remember just thinking like it was like magic money. It was just strange. Did you feel that way at all, or?
I mean, I was kind of too young to really you know.
I remember when somebody said
understand
you should make a PayPal account. I was like so skeptical. I was like, "What the heck is this?" I refused to do it on eBay. I remember like forcing people to mail me a money order, and people would get so pissed. They're like, "Why don't you just let me send PayPal?" I was like, "I don't like PayPal. I don't have one. I don't
Also,
trust
our mom
it."
didn't. Our mom didn't want us to use the credit card.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because she was freaked out about it.
Yeah.
Now we use credit. And I remember telling her that once I figured out what it was. I said PayPal is safer than any other thing. You don't want it's safer than some random website, trusting some random website. Because back then they used to literally store credit cards on a database.
Oh yeah, it was insane.
It wasn't encrypted at all.
Oh.
It's kind of hard to believe. My company used to actually do that too, and we don't do that anymore. For obvious reasons.
The Joe Rogan experience.
Okay, so Terra Luna is a crypto organization, whatever you want to call them, who runs a stable coin, and they like algorithmically create value for their coin by, I don't really exactly understand it, but somehow you put money into it and it just automatically make sure that their stable coin is always worth $1. And that's essentially the point of it. There's a bunch of these stable dollars out there, but Terra is one of the newer players in the stable coin game, I guess. But one of the companies is called Tether, and how they do it is supposedly every single dollar that's out there is backed up 1-to-1 with $1. Like they actually have dollars in the bank to back it up. Terra, to help back their stablecoin up, they're actually buying Bitcoin to do that. So they already own like $3 billion in Bitcoin, and they want to own $10 billion worth of Bitcoin over time. The reasoning behind that is their idea is their stablecoin will never fail, because for their stablecoin to fail, that means Bitcoin has to fail. And in their view, if Bitcoin fails, that means basically all cryptos have failed.
Yeah.
Do you buy into that argument at all?
And if it's backed up by Bitcoin, it seems like a decent argument.
Right. Do you think it's, I guess what I'm kind of curious about is, do you think it'd be better to back up every dollar that you have in stable dollars, in actual dollars, like Tether's doing, or you think it's better to back it up by like a hard asset like Bitcoin, or what do you think?
I would say a hard asset like Bitcoin.
So, because yeah, I kind of agree with that, because I mean, it seems like the cost of keeping the stablecoin up, you would, that would certainly. I just don't see how backing it up by dollars would make sense in the long run. This sort of reminds me of like when there used to be gold-backed dollars. It's like they've created a Bitcoin-backed dollar on crypto rails, basically.
Yeah, it's the same concept.
It's kind of interesting, but they're not putting all their money that they've got into Bitcoin, but they're doing a good portion of it. Though I guess it kind of helps lend to the narrative. The Bitcoin is basically like the gold of the internet in the cryptocurrency space, because we have another cryptocurrency who's literally buying Bitcoin to help back up their crypto ideas.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, at least in the digital realm, not necessarily every realm, but the digital realm, it is the gold of that of the cryptocurrency world. So I think it definitely helps that narrative for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting. Okay, so this is called the Bitcoin stock to flow model, and it's trended pretty close to it over the past, since inception. And what stock to flow is basically how much stock of Bitcoin does it take to have all, or how okay, so let me back it up. How much time would it take for you to create all the Bitcoin that already exists? So right now, which technically never can happen again because there's 19 million Bitcoin that's been created, There's no way to create 19 million more. There's only 2 million left, but we're at like a 1.5%, like 900 per bitcoins per day is the current rate of creation. So the stock to flow is super high. It would take a long time to create all the bitcoins. It would take many years if it would stay at that same inflation rate. Now, at the Bitcoin halving, which is right here, the next one, as you can see, like it'll take even longer because the inflation rate gets cut in half. So the idea is, if you assume the same inflation rate, how long does it take to recreate the stock of the current amount of Bitcoin? Does that make sense?
Yes.
To restock it, essentially. Gold has a high stock to flow with an inflation rate that is very low, the same as Bitcoin. And again, over time, the Bitcoin halvings will increase the stock to flow. What's interesting is this model has followed pretty well. This is the actual price of Bitcoin, and this is the logarithmic trend. And every halving, the price goes up because of the fact that the inflation is less and the stock to flow increases. But as you can see, we're like way below the model at this right now. That's what I think is interesting.
Yeah.
So remember in 2017, that huge price jump, we were actually above the stock to flow model. Then it corrected, and then it went back, and then it kind of settled. And then we had the halving, and then boom, it went up. But we haven't really... That's why everybody was saying we're going to 100,000. That's what everybody was saying right around this time, which was like the beginning of 2021, near the end of 2022. They're like, we need to go to 100,000. This only makes sense because it's been following this model pretty closely. But that never happened. So a lot of people are saying right now Bitcoin is very undervalued based on what it did before. However, I don't think you can. This is very much a supply side model. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really taking into account the demand.
It looks like it's mainly just been overvalued. Like, it hasn't dipped below the line very much.
Yeah, I was noticing that too. That's why a lot of people are saying it's way undervalued right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But that's why they're predicting by 2026. Some people are saying by 2026 it's going to be $1 million. I don't think demand can keep up. Because you still have to have... And basically the assumption is, as long as the demand stays relatively the same, due to the stock to flow model, the price will go up to around these levels. So basically, I think what this suggests is the demand is a lot less right now than it was at this point, or this point. The demand is a lot higher here.
True.
I think that's what it's suggesting. So the adoption rate, and it does seem like Bitcoin has been shit on a lot, and the adoption seems to be getting crappier. I don't know. Maybe that means it's the time to buy it, to buy more of it. I'm still, but I this is another question I wanted to ask. Actually, I'll ask it in the next slide. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with this one?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so do you think we're in a full-blown bear market? Because, I mean, the stock market has done horrible this week.
Yes.
So you think it's a full-blown bear market? I
think we've been in a bear market.
Right. I was still kind of thinking... I thought we were in a bear market about March. But it took me some time to, I guess, accept it.
I was thinking I think like around Ukraine, or maybe a few weeks before that.
Yeah, Ukraine has made things worse for sure. Ukraine.
And whenever Ukraine happened, that's when I knew. I'm like, okay, it's
bear
over,
time.
basically.
I mean, Bitcoin price right now is 34,000, which is not the lowest we've seen in a while. So it's not totally bottomed out yet. I don't think if we are in a full blown bear market, I mean, I think Bitcoin could go down as low as 20,000 potentially. Which that to me is a big opportunity for people.
Yeah. It's just at a discount.
Yeah, it's at a huge discount. That would be kind of exciting, honestly. Do you think that? I mean, and also the Nasdaq went down like 20% the past month. I forgot to mention that, which is insanity. A fifth of the value gone. Do you think that the midterms will help the market gain a little traction, or do you think it'll hurt it?
I think if Republicans win, I think it'll probably help it.
Right, and that'll probably signal to the market, more, company centric type stuff will get proposed, less, other things.
And I don't know if it'll have much of an impact though.
I don't think it'll have an impact right away, but I think it will help over time.
Yeah,
Honestly, it might not even do anything. It might just be totally independent of it. I don't know.
it could be. Yeah,
It could just be all. I don't think it's totally independent, but I think it would definitely help a little. But if
it
Republicans
seems like
win,
presidential elections have more of an impact.
yeah, if Republicans win this time and Republicans win in 2024, I think we'll see a huge rally.
I agree.
But we might have a big rally before then. I would think we would, but you never know. We might be on these lower lows for a while. I guess that's, well, I'll ask that in a second. Do you think the war in Ukraine, do you think it's going to end anytime soon? What is your gut feeling lately?
And the last I heard that they had stopped attacking the Capitol
Right.
and were like holding.
Yeah.
That seems good, but I mean they could just be like regrouping and gonna go back in. But
Reorganizing.
yeah, they could be reorganizing. But that, to me, that seems maybe they're having some sort of peace talks or something. I don't know, but I think it's coming closer to an end.
Do you think that would spark the rally if the war in Ukraine ended? I know we'd have a little rally, and we probably would stop. I think the bottom would definitely be signaled if the war in Ukraine ended, in my opinion.
I think
But
it could, yeah.
do you think it would spark a bull market again? Or do you think it would
No,
just
I don't
be-
think it'll spark a bull market.
But do you think that would kind of signal, hey, we're probably at the bottom here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think it would spark a bull market either, but I think it would. We'd probably recover a little bit, and that's probably like we'll be trading sideways for a while, basically. When do you think a bull market will start again? Or I know it's hard to know, but what do you think? If you had to guess.
I think if a Republican wins, I think it would start. Okay, if the Republicans win the midterms and then they win the presidency, I think that would start a bull market. So
you
potentially,
think we have to wait 2 more years?
Potentially, yes.
2.5 more years, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. To get a full-blown bull market, it might take that long. Yeah. But, I mean, if you believe in the market and you believe in long-term growth, then you should be looking at this as stocks are on sale, and you should be loading up on them. You got to go against the grain, go against the fear, and be courageous and keep buying. That's what you have to do if you want to make money. I mean, or you can just sell everything and say screw it, I don't believe in this anymore.
Yeah,
I don't think that's smart, but
if you're planning on investing for 20 years, the price in 20 years is going to be higher than it is now. Like, that's just how it works.
right.
And so the price today may be lower than it was last year, but it's probably not going to be at this price again for a long time. So you're better off buying it.
This is probably the lowest price that it will be at ever again.
Yeah.
I think this is basically how it works. You get really high highs, and then you go down, you correct. You very rarely go all the way down on the last bear market side.
Yeah.
Like, that's not really going to happen. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm thinking as well. Okay, so how would you invest right now? How are you investing? Like, what would you recommend?
I mean, right now what I'm doing is, if there is a stock that I like and that I believe in long term, and they're like having like really bad days, that's when I buy them because it's like a discount. And if there's not any stocks like that that you can
That you have
see
any
or
that you don't feel good about, that you don't believe
right,
in
then
fully.
I just do like conservative stuff like utilities and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm sort of yeah, I'm buying when stuff is down if it's stuff that I believe in. And I'm also wading into like the QQQ, you know,
Yeah.
the oh god, why can't I think? The ETFs, the indices or whatever you want to call them. So basically how I'm doing is about 50-50 into stuff I believe in that are down and into indices essentially.
Yeah. Sounds like a good strategy.
Yeah. I did want to point out one fund and see what you thought. It's the ARK investment price. So it's been killed lately. So I'm looking at the past 5 years here. I mean, it's doing better than it did in 2017, right? Like it's done pretty. It's about where it was in 2018 now, and it dropped a lot in 2020, and then just boom, it shot up so fast. You know, during that last bull run we had after the
Yeah.
pandemic kind of got settled. I mean, it went all the way up to $150, and now it's at $45. It's back to the valuation it was, 2018, 2019. So
Yeah.
I've been buying some of this as well because it's still up 80% over the course of 5 years, even though it's down half or more, or no, a third. It's still up
Right.
a lot. So I think this is just being oversold at this point.
What is in this ETF?
They actually picked Tesla. One of the reasons why they did so well is because they picked Tesla. So before any other indexes were, they're kind of like the closest thing to a venture capital fund in the stock market. So if I go to their web, and we talked about them before, ARK Investments, remember?
Yeah, I remember us talking about them.
So yeah, let's take a look at they have like a number of different ETFs. Let me go to maybe I should do this ARK fund. Here we go. So this is their main flagship one. It's ARK K, ARK Innovation ETF. So you get kind of a wide range of what they're wanting to do. They have more focused funds, some that are in robotics, some that are in space, and more focused ones. 3D printing is one too. So those are even more risky, I would say, because it's very specific. So you have to really believe in that particular market. But their biggest weight is still in Tesla. But they bought it way earlier, which is why I think they had the meteoric rise. Their second is Roku, which I think that's kind of questionable. But Zoom, which is very popular. Coinbase, Block, which is Square, that's the Cash App. Exact Sciences, which I think they're doing innovative things in genomics. Teladoc, which is like a healthcare company that's more into the video stuff and trying to make it more you don't have to go to the doctor's office as much. Unity Software,
Right.
I don't know if that has anything to do with the gaming thing. I'm not really sure.
Seems like it. I don't
Twilly,
know.
I'm not sure what these other two companies are, to be honest, and they have more than that though. But yeah, that's like the top ones.
It definitely seems like a riskier ETF.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you should just buy this ETF, but I think it's one of the reasons why I like it is because it's got companies that you don't see in the other indices.
Yeah, that is a unique grouping.
Let me actually open up. Let me try to get their whole ETF up. Okay, so I got their whole ETF. Oh yeah, I got DraftKings. It's kind of interesting. Shopify, Spotify. I like Spotify. Robinhood. I like Robinhood. Roblox.
They got some of the standards too.
What standard one do you see?
I misread it.
Which one did you see? I'm sorry.
I thought I saw Meta, but maybe I misread.
They used to have Meta. They actually sold Meta a while ago because they wanted to invest in some other stuff. So they lean more risky. They lean more risky.
Yeah.
But they're most heavily weighted in Tesla, which is always good, especially nowadays. And they're the ones who are predicting it to 5x over the next 5 years. So that they do a lot of research into each one, and they're very each of the people that do this research into them, they're not like MBAs. They actually are coming from the place that they're researching. Like they have genomic people who are researching genomics, and they have different folks who are very specific to each one, researching each of these companies, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
So that yeah, I mean, when you see that performance, I'm not saying that'll happen again, but it's definitely oversold. I feel like.
Yeah. It seems that way.
That's why I'm putting some in here too. Like instead of me buying more Robinhood, which I believe in the long run, I've been buying some of this because it's like risky but less risky than that because you're getting a lot of other stuff. So it's sort of like a fund if you want to have, because like all of this is not in the standard stuff, you know. So you're getting a lot of, if you look at like QQQ and you look at, you know, pretty much every single other index, they're basically the same. Which
Yeah.
So if you're buying funds, you basically could just buy QQQ or buy any of the other funds. They're all about the same. So I guess that's why I kind of like this, because you get a little more risk in case there is that huge parabolic movement. It gives you some more potential upside.
Exposure to that potential.
Right, because you're not getting that in the QQQs. You're not getting that in the other funds at all.
Yeah.
So just something
That's interesting, ETF.
Yeah. And they have other ones too that are more specific. Those are more risky, I would say. So you probably just want to get the full scale one because it's broad. It's not just financial. It's not just, you know, so it's genomics, but you can get even more specific, which is probably more risky. Did you have anything else you want to talk about? That's about all I had.
I can't really think of anything. That's about all I had to.
All right, cool. Well, we'll talk again next week.